For the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, everyone has an agenda in front of them. We'll need a motion to approve the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda dated March 30th, 2020 as presented.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. I might make mention, Ron Loomis is on Zoom right now, so he's at his house, so he's taking part in this meeting also. Okay, let's go ahead and approve the minutes from last week, and then we also had a special meeting, so we're going to have approval on both of those. The one would have been March 25th was a special meeting, and the other meeting would have been
March 27th was a special meeting.
yeah, March 27th was a special meeting. March 25th was a regular meeting. 23rd.
Oh, 23rd.
Special was
25th and 20.
We had two.
Yes.
25th and the 27th. So we've got
Three meetings.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to, if we want to look at last week's, was there any corrections at all on last week's? I didn't see any.
the 20.
March 23rd.
Yes, March 23rd, which would have been our original meeting.
Yeah, I didn't have anything.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve the minutes for March 23rd, regular meeting.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, now let's go to March 25th, special meeting.
Yeah, that's where we locked down everything.
Yes. They looked okay to me.
Yep.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the March 25th, 2020 special meeting as presented.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, now the March 27th special meeting.
That looks fine to me.
That's good to me.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the March 27th meetings.
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Yes. Okay, at this time, we'll have Shaylee Shea, County Health Department Director, give us an update. Shaylee, are you there?
Hello?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm glad I can see your guys' beautiful faces, and you can't see mine.
No, we cannot.
Okay, so just an update. We do have 3 positive cases in the county. As of this morning, we don't have any new cases. Everybody's recovering at home, and contacts were identified this weekend and immediately notified. And then all of those contacts are quarantining at home as well. Saturday, the governor announced that they were going to enforce a statewide stay-at-home order. That just came one day after we did our local order, of course. So really, the statewide order is pretty much the same thing as ours. The only difference is that local non-essential businesses will need to get exemption permission from the state. And the way that they're doing that is they have an online application form that just walks businesses through why they think should be exempt, and then a state person is going to get in contact with them to find out if they can be exempt or not. I'm waiting to find out if I get contacted from the state when that happens, or if they're just giving the specific permission to the business and then letting them go about. I'm hoping they let me know so that I can kind of keep track of that in case we get reports of people wondering why certain places are operating even though they don't meet the essential business criteria. But hopefully today they will send something out. They are asking that businesses who are essential but may have questions go ahead and email a state designated email, which is keff@ks.gov. And then today, my main goal is going to be working on a FAQ document for the public that just addresses everything that I just said, so that people are aware of what the difference is, and kind of giving some direction on what local businesses can do, who they can reach out to. Of course, if they're calling us, we're going to tell them the same thing. We're going to walk through the online process with them, just give that kind of direction. But I don't really know if the state kind of knew what they were asking for by doing this statewide order, but I think this week we'll probably get more guidance from them as far as what they expect local authorities to do. And then I'm also going to meet with law enforcement and go over what I kind of expect from their side of things and what happens if people are violating. So that's all I have this morning.
Any questions?
Yeah, Shaylee, you talk a little bit about that non-essential business exemption form through the state, and they need to contact the state. Do you have an email or something?
Let me grab that. The specific link is it's going to be governor.kansas.gov/KEFF.
Okay, and I think we're going to put that on the county website too for
Perfect.
future guidance.
Yeah. We have we've been working with the county PIO officers. I'm hoping to ask them to come up with some messaging that can be specific to local businesses so that they know exactly what to do. Hopefully this afternoon we can start working on that, but that's when I'm planning that conversation. So
Very good.
Jaylee, have you been contacted by Hutton Construction that's working out at Pfizer?
I haven't heard from my nurses that they have got any contact either.
Okay, well, I told Mike King to call you and give you his exemption letter or whatever, so
Okay.
that should be happening.
Okay. Shaylee, how are you handling this? You're quite a workload now, isn't it?
Yeah, Cheryl and I were working this weekend. We both were in here for 5 or so hours on Saturday, just calling down the contact list. And then she came in yesterday to do some follow-up with people, but I kind of got a home office set up, so I've been doing that on the weekends and then in the evenings, but we're hanging in there.
Well, we sure appreciate what you do, Shaylee, you and your staff.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, when you signed up with us, we didn't realize this would be something that you'd have to deal with, but you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Is Kim on the line? Kim, do we have you? Kim Romero, County Appraiser?
Yep. Do you hear me?
Gotcha. Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Can you see me now?
No.
Now we can see you.
Okay. All right. Well, I am just going to present the pictometry agreement again, and just kind of update you on some information that I was given you last week. So I went ahead and did a sheet. The first page there should just be kind of the updated information. So the actual cost is $42,440 per year for 3 years, not the 55 that I told you originally. And that is with a 25% discount off of that. If you go on to the agreement, it lists out the different product names and then the prices. I believe it's the third page, page 3 of 17. And that very first product is the Reveal Essentials Neighborhood. They gave us a 25% discount for signing up in the first quarter. So that's why I'm here and needing to get this done. Obviously, it's something that's not going to take place till next year. So I just kind of wanted to reiterate that they will fly next year. And this first payment won't be due until I believe June or July next year is what he was telling me. And I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of information on if we do not fly, we still would have to pay the $2,200 per year for the software for us to be able to use the older pictometry or aerial photography. And then also if we do not get it signed before tomorrow, that 25% will be removed. And if we still would like to proceed with getting the aerials done next year, that total price will jump up to the 163, which is, I believe, back to the 55,000 that I was talking about per year. And then, so I just kind of wanted to let you gentlemen know where we were at on what we actually use the pictometry for. And so I just kind of made a list, and this just kind of touches on a lot of aspects in our office that uses the aerial photography. Ag reviews being one big one. That saves my staff. You know, if I just had one person working on that, it would take them a couple months, and I just estimated about 2 months or 320 hours, and that would be field work. So that would be somebody in a vehicle driving around the county for a few months, reviewing the ag. Now ag we can do 50% of the county each year, or we can do 100% every other year. So we did it in 2018 with our aerials. That was the last time we did it. So we're up to do it. And it's a 4-year thing. So we can, if we do fly, we can use that aerial to do it again through the office and not have to send anybody out in the field again. Like I said, that is a person who stays in the office. They do it by the aerial review. And it doesn't take them a whole lot of time using the aerial. They compare the prior aerial that we have with the new updated. Commercial reviews is another really big one. Our field staff uses the aerial photography to help with the big industrial plants here in town, and they can do a lot of their measurements and data entry in the office before they go to the field, to the properties. It gets them on and off the property a lot quicker. We don't want to use a lot of the taxpayers' time, especially in the commercial, where we know they have to get to things. And a lot of times when we do go to commercial properties, they're wanting to walk around with us, which is fine, and we enjoy that. And they can kind of give us an in-depth on what's going on at their property. And so we don't want to have to be out there for hours, you know, your Johns Manville, your Vigas, those kind of things where we may not even be able to get around the whole property. That's another huge reason we use the aerial photography, as well as residential. Right now we have several new developments coming up, and it would be nice to have all of those aerials. So when I'm sitting in the office and having to do payment under protest, as well as final review, that's where I do a lot of looking over the new developments and just kind of doing my quality control on my field staff with the aerial photography, as well as in the rural area, a lot of new builds seem to be ag exempt, and so they don't get permits. Now, I don't run that office, so I don't know how that works as far as who's ag exempt and who is not. But we do find a lot of buildings in the ag with updated aerial. Since we're not able to go to the properties only once every 6 years, it makes a difference having updated photography or aerial photography for the rural purposes. We definitely have found many ag buildings on the rural properties with the aerial. And then I also went ahead and made natural disaster comments. We've used them. We've actually, the Lindsborg flooding area, we use that, our aerial pictometry for that. Just, I think it was 5 years ago, I want to say. We've had microbursts just within the last, 10 to 12 years that I've been in the office, as well as fires. And those are just little things that we use pictometry for. I did mention that with the other entities, I believe Christian sent those. We looked at those the last time on how many people have viewed and logged in from each different, the city offices, planning and zoning, public works, sheriff's department. Each one of those entities have used our pictometry as well. So those are just kind of things I wanted to touch on with you gentlemen.
And this is a 3-year agreement, is that correct, Kim?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, our old agreement, it was 2 3-year agreements.
We just had a 3-year agreement.
We just had a 3. Okay.
Yeah. So this would be renewing that, but obviously with the updated prices.
And what you're saying, Kim, the first payment wouldn't be due till next year, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
And then they would bill us each year after that.
Yes.
So what is the new pricing? Is it 33,000, 42,000, or 55,000? I haven't figured it out.
I'm sorry, it's the 42,440, and in the agreement, it actually breaks that down for you. Let me get the page here. On page 5 of 17, it breaks down and it actually has your first project would be what we were doing at the 42,440.
Okay, so the 42,440 is the discounted price that he had worked up, because originally it was 52,000. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
But you have to have that paid. I mean, that has to be agreed before the end of this month. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So on the, let's see, I lost where I'm at here. Okay, so we have 127,000 for the first. Is this 2 3-year? Why do we have 127,000 twice? Is what I don't understand.
Okay, so that's for a projected if we would like to do a second project. So we want just the first project. So that's what we are doing right now.
So the first project covers 3 years in one flight or 2?
Yes.
Okay. It covers 3 years and just one flyover.
Yes.
Okay. And our last flyover was 18. Keith, do you know how often they fly for the FSA maps?
I don't think we can use those maps, so I don't know how often they fly, but I don't think Kim can use those maps.
Well, I know, I realize that, but I'm just thinking, I mean, if anybody wants to have up-to-date maps, it'd be FSA, I would think. Because all the payments we would do based off of those maps, acreages. Anyway, I was just getting down to how often do we really need them? Do you need them every 3 years or not?
I would
Yeah.
love them every year, but every 3 years is pushing it as far as with the, like I said, with the new developments and that information coming
Okay.
out, or sorry,
Okay.
what?
Kim, can you use those FSA maps?
No.
No, they
use
actually, I believe last year, or the year before, made the FSA information not open.
Okay.
So we can't use their records.
Yeah. I was just trying to compare as to how often they do it versus how often we need to do it. May not be relevant.
I guess if there's a lot of building going on in our county, obviously it's probably a little more important too.
Right.
Okay.
So, yeah, so we'll still have the software side of it. You can still go in and look at the maps, regardless of what we do. You can still go in and look at the history.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And that would just be we would have to do the 2,200 per year to be able to keep that.
Right.
So
It's the new buildings that really are going to kind of be the issue.
yes.
The
Mhm.
new construction.
Yes.
Okay. Where I'm still confused at is on Eagle View's budget proposal. They've got 127,000 in project 1 and 127,000 project 2. So you're totaling out 254,000, which seems like a whole lot of money to me for just maps. But are you saying?
Yeah, we're just doing project 1.
Okay, you're not going to come back and say, now you got to have project 2.
No, we would do, so the agreement was very similar the first time, as far as they flew once and they spread the payment out in 3 years. And then they came back like we're doing right now. So this would be, so I think they did it in 15 and 18. And so
Okay.
now we're doing it again to reevaluate, basically, if we want to do it again for the twice every 6 years, I guess you can say that. But essentially, we're just agreeing to the project 1 at the 1 flight for 3 years.
Okay, so the first payment of 42,000 is due June of 20 or June of 21?
21.
Okay.
So they will not bill us until after they have flown, and we are we agree with the picture or the aerial photography that they provided for us.
Okay.
So it would actually come out of next year's budget, or it's still.
Yeah, we'll have to
It'd be
budget.
encumbered.
Okay.
It'd be encumbered then.
But the problem I'm looking at is, our budgets in the future now are going to be tied $0 increase. It's at least last year we had a cost of living increase. Now they're saying no, they're going to put it on the dollar amount.
Rick, can you hear Rick here, Ron?
No,
He said we'd have to take it out of reserves if we went this route.
right.
And Kim, they would do this flyover, that would be next year also, or would that still be this? It would be next year when they do the flyover.
Yes, they would do the flyover next year before the leaves come on the trees, is usually when they fly.
And once we sign this agreement, we're agreeing for 3 years. Is that correct?
We're agreeing to pay for the 3 years. Yes.
Kim, what would be your argument to wait in a year?
Like I said, we have a lot of new development, and that's not even just residential. We do have 3 big subdivisions that are starting up this year. I know Lindsberg has one. Mound Ridge has been building a lot, as well as Galva has one. And then obviously here in McPherson, we've got a lot of new houses going up all the time. But we also have a lot of commercial properties that are expanding as well. So that would be my argument. I would want something recent, and just so I can see, like, I can do my in-office quality control as well as, you know, all that stuff that was listed. If we wait a year, then I will have to send my ag field review, and she would have to do 50% this year and 50% next year. Just because I think it would be really hard to get 100% done in 1 year for one person. So.
And what you're saying, Kim, physically, you wouldn't have to go out and visit all these properties. Is that correct also?
Right. When I do quality control as well as final review myself, I do a lot of it on the aerial, just because during final review, that's when we, you know, December is when payments go in. And so we have payment under protest at that time. So I'm not able to get in the field very much during that time. So.
Okay. Any other questions for Kim?
Nope.
Not, I'll entertain a motion one way or the other. And if we would wait a year, Kim, obviously the price would be more. Is that correct?
It would be
also?
different. I can't guarantee the same price. And I talked to Christian actually this morning just to see if we did wait a year, what would that entail? And he just said he is not sure and can't guarantee the price. And so.
Okay. We're still thinking, Kim.
That's fine. I know. I would like to say this too, and I visited with Rick on Friday just a little bit, and I talked to Ryan Jansen with Lyon County, and he's proposing as well that essentially, like right now with the COVID, and we're in a state of you know, disaster, so we could potentially file to FEMA as well. That's obviously not a guarantee. But it could be something that helps us with this, you know, with the bottom dollar, I guess you can say. It's not guaranteed. We don't know how much, even if they would help, but that's something we could also entertain as well.
You're saying that part of the cost of this could be put on the disaster?
Yeah, as far as declaring like we need it because of this COVID virus, which would be excellent, because essentially if my girls can't get out in the field, especially for 2 or 3 months of the time where they should be going out and doing relists, checking on sales, that is definitely something that's going to put us behind, and that would be a reason for us to need the new aerial photography.
Okay.
So Kim, just
like I said, that's not guaranteed. You know, I was visiting with Rick a little bit about it. You know, it could be pennies on the dollar. We are not sure.
Right.
So, but.
Okay.
So Kim, just to clarify, so if we did wait a year on this, potentially we would lose that discount that we would get right now, which is what, 10,000. What is the discount?
It's actually almost 30,000.
Okay,
so our
it'd be
total price
a 10 over the three payments.
Plus you'd have to pay the $2,200 that she was talking also. Yes.
Yes.
You have to add the 20,
Right.
Since we're not renewing it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You'd have to pay the $2,200, but you got to do that anyway in order to use your old maps.
Right. That's sort of the base fee.
Yeah. I'm neutral on it. It really doesn't float my boat. So whatever you want to do.
Well, I guess for Kim, like I mentioned earlier, physically you wouldn't have to go out and do a lot of this, would you? It would save some hours there.
Right, yes.
Do
And
you
it
still-
saves on the ag review as well.
Do you still have the manpower to do this physically? I guess is my question, if you have to go out and do it yourself.
Well, I thought last week you said that they would, the state wouldn't accept just a pictorial review. You had to go out 100% every second year.
So for our relist, that's only 17% of the county. So
Okay.
we can't use it for the relist. We have to physically go inspect 17% of the county every year.
Right.
But as far as the rest of the 83% of the county, we can do in office.
Well, but I thought every 2 years you had to do 100%.
That's for the ag.
That's for the, oh, that's just for the ags.
Just for the
Yeah,
ad.
just for the ag parcels. Yes.
All right.
Well, it kind of comes down if we want to continue to utilize this service. If you don't want to continue, then you don't, but then you lose the discount. If you do want to continue using the service, you're going to give up that $30,000. I mean, are there any other options, or what else is out there? Is this all we can use, or?
I have not looked into anything else. At this point, I can do that if you would like me to.
I'm just throwing out. It's a lot of money,
Mhm.
It is.
Yeah.
Rick says you and me have to change all your mapping. Is that correct, Kim?
Yeah, if we go with another service, we would definitely have to
Yeah.
change all of that.
So it
And
sounds
that would
like
be an additional cost as well.
So it sounds like this is the service that we're really going to continue to use into the future.
How does Kevin use this in his system?
This is what Kevin uses in his system. As far as aerial, is that what or are you asking like, what does Kevin do?
Well, I'm assuming he uses this to keep his system updated.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
How are they to work with? Or is this a good company to work with, Kim?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Anytime I have had questions and our representative is Christian, he has either contact me back within just hours, or if he's out, he lets me know who I can contact. We've had several questions with him just as far as some of the aerial wasn't lining up. So he came in and did what he needed to do to correct that. So I've had a good experience with this company.
Okay, any other questions? I know it's a lot of money, Kim. That's why it's taking us just a little longer here to try and
Yeah,
decide.
it's okay. Okay.
So you had the first project and the second project. I guess I was a little confused on what that second project really was.
So that will be in 3 years. If we would choose to fly again,
Okay,
that would be a second project.
So that's basically a 6-year. You're locking in for 6 years instead of just the 3.
No, we're only doing the 3 years.
Right, but if you did that second project, that's
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
okay. You're getting the same price over 6 years other than.
Well, I'm going to make a motion that we go ahead and extend this pictometry agreement for another 3 years with this company.
for 44,000. Is that what it is?
42,440
42,000?
for 3 years.
Okay. 42,000 per year for 3 years.
42,440 for 3 years. The first payment would be due June of 2021.
Yeah, your
Right.
total payments of 127,320, I
Right.
believe.
Okay, I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Did it?
Nay.
Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, have a good day.
2-1.
Oh. Okay, it was 2-1 vote. Okay, Dan, are you there? Dan Schrog from our noxious weed department.
I'm here.
Okay. What you got for us?
Yeah, first of all, I'd just like to say that we do use spectrometry an awful lot. We use it on our surveys. Even though crops change from year to year, it gives us a general idea of what's pasture ground and what's farm ground. It's invaluable to us, so we get a lot of good use out of it. In regard to the chemical purchase, we're really getting a pretty good run on our chemicals already. We've got 2,000 acres on the books by aerial application, and we're already sold out of 2.5 containers of Milestone. And we also have a order coming in for 27.5 gallons. Williams Energy is going to be spraying 574 acres. And the price on the Milestone has gone up $10, but because we bought Milestone from Van Diest last year, Corteva, who manufactures the Milestone, has they offered an incentive kind of thing. It just so happened by coincidence that when we ordered that, they have an $1,800 credit with whichever company that we purchased it from. So that would be discounted from the $25,256.10 if we got it again from Van Diest. And since Van Diest is the lowest general bid price, that's my recommendation. Tordon has gone up about 30 cents a gallon, which isn't that much. Vanquish is a chemical that we use basically on our newer roads, because when our new ditch, when the ditch is worked up, the first thing we see is a lot of kochia in there. And Vanquish is quite effective on kochia as well as very broad spectrum. It's a little more pricey to use than some of the others, but it's very broad spectrum, and it seems to do a good job if we can get it on early enough. I don't like to use Vanquish in hotter weather because, as we know, it's a sister chemical, the dicamba. There is a possibility of some volatilization if we get into some really warm weather, so we like to put it on early. And we last purchased that in 1917, and it has, or rather 2017, and it has gone down considerably, $17.24 a gallon. So that's nice. Method is a new chemical, aminocyclopyrachlor, which was the active ingredient, one of the active ingredients in Perspective, which we've used in the past. It is one of the only chemicals that does show some pre-emergence activity to field bindweed. Plus, it's extremely broad spectrum, particularly when it was mixed with Teller, which is the same chemical as a crop label of Glean. And that combination really works very well, which we may consider also. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at. I probably should have requested a little bit more of the milestone since it's really going pretty fast. I'd hate to come back with another request, but that may have to happen. This is just kind of to get us by for now.
So Dan, did you have in the inventory from last year?
Yes. Yes. And we did that milestone that we had 20, we had, let's see, 20, I forget, about 20 gallons, a little over 20 gallons, and it sold out.
You're getting this all in 2.5 gallon jugs too.
That's correct. It also comes in quarts. It does not come in gallons. I didn't request any quarts because I thought we could probably get by with what we have. We have pretty good inventory of quarts at this point.
Van Geist was the low bid. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Van Diest was a low bid overall.
All right.
What on the discounts, is that attributed to rebates? Does that company get rebates on some of this, Dan?
No, it's a little different. What they did is it goes through the dealer. If you ordered a milestone in the fall, then whatever, in a way it's a rebate, but whatever manufacturer or whichever dealer got the bid, then that dealer would get give the purchaser a credit of $1,800.50. So in other words, that $25,256.10 does have a $1,800 credit with Van Diest. So that would be discounted from our price.
Okay.
Any other questions? This should take you through the whole year. Is that correct then, Dan?
There's no guarantees, but we hope so.
Okay.
Milestone has a tendency to be used less in the fall than the spring. But, you know, a lot of times we just don't know because of the weather. And it seems like about every year I need to come in in the fall with another purchase for the following year and for fall.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve Van Geist for the chemical purchase with the bid as presented.
Van Diest,
Van Geist.
yes.
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, I do have one other question that's not on the agenda, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about the other ATV. Is there any problem with delaying that, listing that? Because my concern is that we're going to have people wanting to look at it, and you know, we're close to the public. We can put it on, you know, anytime, but I just have some concerns about whether people would want to look at it. You know, do you want it on now right away, or do you want us to wait until this whole thing settles down just a little bit?
Well, you're talking about putting it on Blue Wave for Purple Wave?
Yes, that's correct, on Purple Wave,
Well, you have a viewing time on that, don't they?
That's correct, yeah. You know, and we can just say it's available to be viewed on Purple Wave, and that it's not available to be looked at physically.
I don't have a problem with them looking at it physically, but I think you can do that with Purple Wave. They allow a certain amount of time, 15 days or whatever you want to put on there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the concern is with the COVID virus going around and getting people in there. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes, that is a concern.
Well, just hold the crowd, just keep the crowd to 10 or less.
Oh, pardon?
Just keep the crowd till 10 or less.
I don't think you're
more than 10 people at a time.
I guess, Dan, you could maybe put it outside
Yeah,
each day. And you just have to visit through the
Yeah,
door or something. But
that would be best.
yeah,
Because like I say, we do remain closed, and all our sales are over the phone. And when somebody makes a request, we get all that over the phone and then ask them what time they're going to be in. We set the chemical outside. And, if there's a big order, we use the forklift or something. We just assume they stay in the vehicle while we load them up with a forklift and try to be have as much social distancing as possible.
I don't have any problem delaying putting it on Purple Wave because of the virus. That's fine with me. I wasn't thinking about that, it being an issue, but whatever. That's not an issue with me. We want to delay it 3 months. That's fine.
Yeah, whatever you're comfortable with.
I think it's a consensus, maybe delay it for 2-3 months, Dan.
That'd be
See how
great.
we get through this. Okay.
Because
Okay.
I think we may have some locals that really would like to look over, maybe even drive it,
Yeah.
like a vehicle, test drive.
Okay. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you for your time. And this is kind of a new thing. It's interesting.
Okay, is Tom available? Tom Kramer, Public Works Director.
I'm here if you got me yet.
Yeah, we got you now.
Okay. Hey, I've got one item this morning, non-elected personnel. Proven Lionel Hebert as a new employee. I think it is included in there is his application. And I think there's a resume also included in there.
Does he live in McPherson County or does he live in Marion County?
According to his address, he lives in Marion County.
That's what I was gonna say. Alamo, I thought. Yeah. Okay,
16,
that's fine.
yeah.
I don't think there's any problem with that.
Yeah, I'm assuming that address is correct.
Yeah.
He's working on getting the CDL, looks like.
Correct. He has passed the written part of it, just the driving part's what's left.
Okay. I like his email handle, Milk 'em Cows.
I've never done that, so I wouldn't know.
I think we know what you mean.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the PCN on new employee hire, Mr. Lionel Hebert, as presented. Now, is there an effective date, or are you waiting to hear back from the drug test?
It would pending the drug test, and I don't know if he's taken that yet or not.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Anything else, Tom?
I don't have anything else unless you guys have something for me.
Not today. Maybe next time. Thank you, Tom.
Sounds
Well,
good.
question I've got, Tom,
Oh.
what are we gonna do for work session in 2 weeks?
Well, we can get you guys some masks.
Some maps.
They might all be out by then.
I don't have anything right now. If we have to, we can put it off. Again, I don't have anything coming up that's critical, I don't think.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll face
We could do it this way too if we had to, if you had something that was important that we needed to address.
Correct. And I can get with Rick as we're going forward to schedule that or not. So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Personnel, we didn't have nothing for personnel. All schools day holiday. Rick?
My recommendation is, since all schools day events are closed, that the county use all schools day as just a floating holiday for employees. And the reason is you would avoid a lot of overtime for mandatory.
You need to speak up. I can't hear him.
Yeah, Ron can't hear you.
Oh, My recommendation is you use All Schools Day as a floating holiday. Since all the events are closed this day, that would save the county on mandatory overtime wages and so forth for those departments that have to be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I visited with a couple department heads. They're very comfortable with that. Each department head would just, through personnel, keep track of the floating holiday for each employee.
Did you hear that, Ron?
Yep, sound good. Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, we need a motion for that. Yes, we'll
Yeah.
need a motion for that.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we treat All Schools Day as a floating holiday for all county employees.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Did I hear you, Ron?
Yep.
Motion carries. Okay. We have the proclamation of Child Abuse Awareness Month. At this time, I will read that off. This is a proclamation in recognition of Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas children are key to the state's future success, prosperity, and quality of life. And while children are our most valuable resource, they are also our most vulnerable. And whereas children have a right to be safe and to be provided an opportunity to thrive, learn, and grow. And whereas child abuse and neglect can be prevented by supporting and strengthening Kansas families, thus preventing the far-reaching effects of maltreatment, providing the opportunity for children to develop healthy, trusty family bonds, and consequently building the foundations of communities. And whereas we must come together as partners so that voices of our children are heard by all, and we are as commonly as a community extending a helping hand to children and families in need. And whereas by providing safe, stable, and nurturing relationships for our children, free of violence, abuse, and neglect, we can assure that Kansas children will grow to their full potential as the next generation of leaders, helping to secure the future of this state and nation. Therefore, I, Commission Chairman Keith Becker, McPherson County, Kansas, do hereby proclaim April 2020 as Child Abuse Preventive Month. We will need a motion. Do we have a motion on that?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion for the signing of the proclamation making April 2020 Child Abuse Prevention Month.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Yeah. Okay, we have one more thing, Rick.
As the board knows, each of the hospitals, the hospitals may take tests for their coronavirus. Those have to be transported to Topeka, Kansas. And so the city has used the fire department, police department. My recommendation is, I visited with Shaylee this morning and last week, and she has individuals that are willing to do the transports provided they are reimbursed for their mileage. My recommendation is the county just have Shaylee contact individuals that have contacted her for the transport. The transport's usually, the hospitals let them know they have a transport, let Shaylee know they have a transport at 5 in the morning. So they leave at 6, and 5 in the evening, and they leave at 6 in the evening. So the approximate cost with mileage and $15 an hour time would be approximately $220 a transport. And I know they did not have one this morning, so it just depends on when the hospitals notify Shaylee. These should be reimbursable costs through the federal government's program. But that would be a lot easier than trying to coordinate with county staff or the sheriff's department on that type of a schedule.
And this would be for the month of April?
Month of April only, and then the city picks it up again for the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
Correct.
We probably need a motion. on that.
Motion probably too.
Yeah, any questions on that? If
No,
not,
sounds good to me.
okay, we will need a motion on that.
Go ahead, Tom. I didn't hear
Yeah.
all the details.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that the county health department hires for transport for a round trip cost of $220 for the month of April 2020.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, anything else? If nothing else, we will need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do we need to recess to another special meeting?
Not to our knowledge right now.
Right.
I would just advise everybody be safe out there.
Yep.
Did-
Make a
did you-
motion to adjourn, did you?
Yeah, I made the
Yeah,
motion.
Tom made the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.